Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the Elite Enlist bow. Now this is the budget line bow from Elite Archery. And the reason I want to do this today is because the price for me has dropped on this bow. So I'm interested in see how this bow would rate in its original price point on the market and how it rates today on its price point. So let's just take a look at this bow. As my poodle's about to go and attack someone. The bow itself is 33 inches long, axle, which is a great size, easy to shoot, not as short as some bows and not as long as you would probably ideally want for 3D. So it's aimed right in that midsection, 33 inches. So a good size for a bow. The cams are a twin cam system, so same cam top and bottom. They use a binary cam system, so one track here where the string feeds off, and the other cam here. This string feeds on, this string here feeds off as you pull it, and this string here feeds on as you pull it. Now to change the draw length on this bow, you need to buy modules, and the modules screw in here. Now the actual cables attach to the module, just there and there. So to change the draw length on this bow, you need a bow press, and you need to detach the strings from the bow to change the draw length. Now there's twin stops on this bow. This is the draw stop just here. Now you can change the draw stop to change the let off, and that's as simple as just moving that forward or back. Now moving it so it hits later gives you more let off, and moving it so it hits sooner gives you less let off. So if you don't have these let offs, if you don't have these draw stops on the bow, when you draw this bow back you get to 100% let off, so the bow's actually holding nothing and the string becomes slack and you start to panic. So whenever you fit the modules, you generally have to take these things off, and sometimes when you go to pull back the bow, you've forgotten to refit these, and you pull the bow back and you've got 100% let off, and you've got to put the bow back in the bow press. So just think, if these draw stops hit late, that's approaching 100% let off. Hit early, probably around 75% let off. Machine riser, it's a fusion process. It comes in a camo, I think this is a real tree, and it comes in black. Metal limb pockets here. This is a solid limb. Now they used to use barn style limbs. I don't know if this is or isn't a barn style limb, but their limbs have been very, very solid. I don't know of anyone who's broken a limb on an Elite bow. Now these bows wind up and down quite easily. This little thing here, if you were to thread it out, you can see the little screw goes through to here, the limb bolt. It just winds up and down very, very easily. It's got a string stop just there. The bow itself is meant to weigh 3.95, and let me go and grab a scale and check that because I forgot to do it before the thing. Okay, so there's the bow scale, it's set at 0. Now this has been weighed with the sight and the whisker biscuit on, and it weighed at 4.4. So probably 3.95 is probably reasonable. Now the grip itself, it feels nice. It's got these little pads either side. The printing's nice. IBL on this is 325 feet per second. So through the chronograph at 60 pounds, I would be expecting like a 290 sort of speed. So we'll just check what we get with that. The cable, so the more expensive Elites have rollers here. Now this is the cheaper Elite, this is just a straight cable slide. If you need more adjustment, you move this cable guard out that way. It's a very, very simple system. Overall the quality is good on Elites. Elite have been slow in shipping before, but they've been pretty good recently. So now I want to talk about price point. On bows, to me, price point is everything. It tells you where you're on the market, whether this is suitable for beginners or suitable for advanced archers. Now the price point on this bow, so before doing this review I looked it up. In America, I looked up Cabela's, it sells for $1,000 American dollars. Now when I convert that to Australian dollars, we're at 68 cents compared to the American dollar. So you add about 30% on, so that should make this bow in Australia about $1,300. Now it's not, it's actually cheaper in Australia than that. Now I think this bow at $1,300 in the Australian market would just be overpriced. It's not fast enough, doesn't have the adjustability. So I went and then checked to see what this bow is selling for in Australia. Now in Australia this bow was varying in price between $1,400 and $1,050. And I used to be $1,050. Now I brought a whole pile of these bows, and I'm now retailing these bows at $700. Now at $700 for Elite Enlist, you've changed the whole spectrum of the bow. You're going from $1,000 basically as an elite archer, someone who's already shooting, to a beginner. And today, in fact, we had a beginner come into our shop wanting to buy a bow, and this is the exact bow he looked at, but in black. Now it's got the ability to fit two-piece quiver also. Elite have got a beautiful two-piece quiver there and there, which fits on by serial number just there. It's got the little tag there. Now with the Elites, this has got an A7 module. I'm hoping that's 2029. The module actually fits in, you can see it here, it fits into this. It's like a little jigsaw which fits in. It reminds me of a kid's, you know, when you've got babies and they're 6 months old and they've got to fit those wooden things into the wooden puzzles. That's what an Elite module reminds me of. It kind of clips in. And I'm not, on the Elites, I'm never happy with this little screw here. I find they snap off when I change it. I find changing draw modules on an Elite is a bit of a pain, because I'm looking at about half an hour's labour time. So just bear that in mind. If you are buying an Elite from a shop, there is more time involved than with a normal bow with rotating modules. So having said that, let's see what this bow feels like. Now the balance is good. You can see it just sits there in my hand. And with this bow, what this bow reminds me of is the Bowtech Tomcat. Now I used to sell a whole heap of the Tomcats. I would say I used to sell probably 500 Bowtech Tomcats a year. It was a huge selling bow for me, but the price point was a bit lower than this. It used to come with a whisker biscuit and a quiver and a sight, and it used to sell in Australia for $800. So this is over that in price point, but at $700, this bow really should just sell out, and that only applies to bows which I have in stock, $700. But at $700, this is a bow to buy, in my opinion. I haven't even shot it yet, so let's see if I still hold that value. But I'm just saying that I like the axle size, I like the feel, I like the finish. This is a fusion finish on the paint instead of a wrap finish. So this should last longer. Machine riser, machine limb pockets, the twin stops, the twin cams, this binary cam system. This bow should be nice to shoot. The balance is good, the weight is good. I think this bow will shoot well. I think it'll be a nice bow, and I think at $700, I don't think it has a competitor in the marketplace. So with that, let's see how this bow shoots. Okay, so I shot the option 6 2 days ago, and I love the option 6. The draw cycle was, I don't know who set that up. The draw cycle was not as smooth as some bows. Okay, so now that I've moved that shouldn't move normally. That should be rock solid. I think this bow will be nice to shoot. So I'm hoping this is set at, it's fully wound up, so it should be on 60. I'm hoping it's around 29 inches. That's what I test all the bows on. Now the option 6 before that was out of place. The option 6 shot at 300 feet per second. That's with these arrows. These are Velocity 400s. Weighs about 327 grains. 90 grain field point with a pin system in the back end. That's a 340 bow. This is a 325. I'm guessing I'll shoot 290s, but I haven't tried the draw cycle. Let's just try this draw cycle out. So it starts off a little bit light. It's building up. It's really, really hard about now. Crikey. You can see that draw length's too long. I'm guessing this is a really long draw length. So I'm going to shoot this shot. .307. Now that's not... I should really, before I grab a bow off the shelf, Because when I put a bow on my shelf, I generally put 29-inch ones on the shelf at 60 pounds. Before I do these reviews, I should really check the draw length and what modules fitted to it, because I'm guessing this is 30 and 307. That's pretty quick. Now, before the peak cycle, this got really heavy. Like, it was, I could feel the pressure on my shoulder, and I shoot 60 pounds all day long. So the let off wasn't with the Elite option. It builds up, and then it sort of drops off into that valley, and then you've got that valley. This drop off was a lot less severe than the option 6. Still no large valley, but the drop off was much smoother, which is what you'd expect for a slower shooting bow. Like, I'm just going to let this down. Like, the let off on the option 6, I'm going to guess is 90%. This feels to me to be like 80. It feels nice. The draw cycle on this I like better than the option 6. This is a better draw cycle. And it's rock solid when you get back here, because those limb stops are whacking on the limbs. And another 307, very consistent. That is really impressive. There's no vibration. Probably a little bit more movement in the hand. You get a little bit more of that, but that's because the bow's lighter than the option 6 that I shot 2 days ago. This is a nice bow to shoot. Like, a really nice bow. The draw cycle's excellent. It's quiet to shoot. Draw cycle's good. There's no vibration in the shot. Now, these are my target arrows. I'm going to put this through the chronograph. These are Victory VAPs, 140 grain points, 350s, 29 inches long. .284, so I've dropped 23 feet per second with a target arrow versus a 3D arrow. This is a nice bow. Now, this is the first time I've shot the Enlist. Now, I might have done another review on an Enlist, and I might not remember it, but this is the first review I think I've done on, and this is the first time I think I've shot it. This is a nice bow to shoot. Like, clearly, like, if you're trying out the option and the Enlist and going, now, normally retail on this would be $1,000, and the Enlist and the option 6 would be $1,400, $400 difference. You know, you're paying for the bridge riser on the Enlist, which, you know, is more machining. It's a heavier bow, but this grip is nice. I couldn't justify the $400. Honestly, I could not justify it. Split limbs on the Enlist versus solid, there's no difference as far as I'm concerned. The only reason I can justify the $400 is because I want the best, and I don't really care about $400. And so a customer said to me in the shop today, it's a showy factor. You know, like, look at me, I've got the coolest bow on the block. And when you go down from that to a cheaper bow, you feel like, well, look what I'm doing with a cheaper bow. And I think this is what it is for me, this bow. Like, I haven't shot it yet at the 18 meters, which is what we're going to do now, but this bow, it feels as good as most bows on the market, as good as any bows on the market. Hasn't got that speed, 325 feet per second, and obviously this is not 307's a fast bow based on my draw length, so this is clearly not, you know, the 29-inch draw length, I'm guessing, so because that's a quick speed. So with that, I think we'll go back to 18 and see how well I shoot with that. And given the draw length is wrong for me, but I think I'll be able to shoot this bow fine. I think I kind of know now which bows I shoot fine with. I shoot really well with bows 31 inches and over. 28 inches I shoot like garbage with them. I shoot better with long brace height bows and bows which are smooth to draw. That's my general thing that I shoot well with. Bows which are harder to draw, I find I'm more twitchy with, so I can just shoot really well with them, but then I can shoot some bad shots with them. So if the bow's smoother overall, I tend to shoot them better. I think I'll shoot this bow well, so let's go and see. Okay, so the Enlist bow, it comes with this little tag here. Inside this tag there is some specs, just there. So it says 33 inches, brace height 6.87, so I should shoot good with 6.87. So the option I shot yesterday was 6 inches, 3.95 and 325 feet per second. I think it should be on the outside rather than on the inside, so people can just look at it, because customers walking into the shop would not think about looking inside a tag. It should be on the outside displayed to make it easy. Okay, so let's have a few shots now. Honestly, I have not hit. I fired 5 arrows and I did not hit the center. All my arrows were high. I just adjusted my sights. They were high in the 7, 8. So I'm hoping they'll kind of be close to the middle now. But I figure I'll be able to group, and that's what I'm really interested in. So let's just see how it goes. Let's just make sure I'm in the kind of position where you can see it. What I find interesting with bigger brace heights, I get rid of this movement, and I don't see any of that with the bigger brace heights. I don't see that with this bow. I'm getting, if anything, up and down movement. No left and right movement like I get with shorter brace heights. So if it's like a fast bow with a 5-inch brace height, I get a lot more left to right movement in the sight pin. Actually, I had a guy in my shop today who's trying out one of the Elites, and you know, the Elite drops off quickly and he's shooting a thumb release aid, and I was standing behind him as he was drawing the bow back, and as he was drawing it back, it went off. He touched the trigger because it lumps over, and the string came and whacked his arm, and it was the big, like, it looked like his arm was going to peel off. It was like, oh, like, and I'm the first aid officer at work, because in Australia you need to have a first aid officer at work. I'm like, do you need me to bandage that? He's like, no. I'm like, okay. I was like, it looked awful. Anyway, so there's some people who go, look, I like the draw cycle, and there's other people who go, I don't like the draw cycle. And this is why it's really good to go and try out different bows and see what type of bow you like the feel of. Because he came in and he was pretty sure that was the bow he was going to get, but he's like, I can't get used to the draw cycle. I want it to be smooth all the way back. Now this bow is smooth all the way back. It's much smoother than the other Elites. Now I don't know whether these are going on target because I can't see. Now it's interesting because we tried out the Elite Victory X today and the Elite Echelon. Now the Echelon was a smoother draw than the Victory X. As far as the drop off, it's not so severe. Smoother draw cycle. You kind of expect them to have the same cam, but they don't. So in fact we set up every target bow, the Matthews TRG, PC Focus, to see which bow he preferred. I always find it interesting to see what people prefer and why they prefer it, and see if what I say in the videos, my opinions of the bows, is what their opinion is. Like, I mean, I think he got into my shop at 9 o'clock or 9:30, and he was there till pretty much close time, trying out all the bows, and I was setting up the bows. It was very interesting, but you know, when people go, "Oh, phone me back, Stephen," it's like, I probably won't get to it because I've just got, you know, I have lots of, I don't know how many phone calls I took today, but I was dealing with that. I was doing orders, I didn't do many orders because I just dealt with customers, but that's pretty much the day gone in the archery shop. I mean, selling archery gear is not like selling a colour TV or selling a lounge suite where a person comes in and says, I'll buy that TV, there's $1,000, see you later. Archery's like, well, we'll come and try that, we'll try that, shoot it through paper, see how this feels, then you've got to set it all up, tie the knocking points in, fit a new D-loop, tie the peep sight in. It's a lot of time involved with selling a bow. Now I'm going to come up with an excuse. It's getting dark and I'm struggling to see these pins. And I think this little fluffy thing's covering my eye too. But the bow feels beautiful to shoot. It's smooth. It's honestly as good as any bow I've shot. Now the draw length is too long for me, so I'm stretching out too far. So I'm probably, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what my groups are like down there. I expect them not to be as good as, let's say, it is with the 28 inches, but this bow feels great to shoot. Now, so that's going to make me say, well, how does this bow compete at the $1,000 price market? If this was $1,000 in Australia, where would it compete, and how do I rate this bow on the $1,000 price point? Now, I don't know how it sits in your market, because $1,000 American, I'd expect there to be a lot more competitors if this sells for $1,000 in America. But in the Australian market, the top selling $1,000 bows, I'm going to say the Obsession Lawless or HB33 is very impressive. That's a nice bow to shoot. Rotating modules, that bow shoots very well, same sort of price point. The PSE Response or React, whatever they renamed that bow to, that's got the Evolve Cam system. That's a very impressive bow. Plastic limb pockets, and I think it should have machine limb pockets. That's a very impressive bow at that price point because it's more adjustable. Faster than this. I don't sell a lot of them because people tend to either shoot by a beginner bow or they go right up to the top of the line $1,300 bow. And I think that's where this bow is probably missing out on the sales. It's kind of priced towards the top end market, but it's not cheap enough to get beginners. And I think that's the problem with this bow. Now at $700, that's where this bow becomes interesting because you're picking up beginners with more money. So they're beginners who go, look, I don't want the cheaper bow, but I'm prepared to go mid-range, but I don't want to go top range. And at $700, that's where this bow, it comes into its own. Now at $700, you're competing against the Drive from PSE, which is a cam system similar to this. Plastic limb pockets, cast riser versus machine riser. Rotating modules on the Drive. This is a module-based system. This is limb stops. The Drive does not. It has a cable-based stop system. So this feels more solid when you get it back. This has the film dip process versus the film dipping. So this, to me, when I say this is a better bow, the Drive's more adjustable. So, you can sell the Drive to anyone. With this, you need to fit modules. But, let's say I had the Drive and this bow at 28 inches. And let's say I have that both at 28.5 inches. That's what draw length I am. I've got them both there. Which bow would I choose? I'd choose this one. They're both the same price. I'd choose this bow. because for me, I'm not going to change my draw length, so I don't care about that. I like their limb stops. The PSE's got the compression limbs, which are, you could argue is a better limb system. But I think I like the feel of this. I like the machine. I like the finish of it. Now I shoot, when I ever do a review on the drive, I shoot that thing so well it blows me away. Like, I shoot that thing so well. And when I've shot field courses with the drive, I've literally shot perfect scores with the bow. I shoot the drive better than I can imagine. In fact, I shoot the drive better than I shoot my target bow. It's just literally crazy. So I'm interested to see how this shoots, but this draw length's too long, so... And this is like really, this thing here is right over my eye and I'm struggling to see, but I think this thing shoots well. I think the Enlist is a nice shooting bow. Last arrow. Now what I find, you're going to say, what's the difference between the long draw length and shorter draw length? What happens, I'm not getting the pressure in my back. I'm not being able to assert myself because I'm already stretched out on my longer draw length. So I like to apply more back tension in between my shoulder blades, and I'm not getting that on the longer draw length. That's just me. You get more speed with the longer draw length, which may be suitable for 3D, but I find for target archery, just hitting the target, I'd probably prefer the bow to be shorter, and I prefer a little bit more relaxation in this arm here. At the moment I'm sort of stretched out. I kind of like a little bit more bent. So I'm going to be interested to see where these arrows are because I have no idea. So let's go up there and see where they sit. Okay, so there's my group. It's kind of interesting. There's no left to right adjustment. And when I practiced, my arrows were in the red. They're in the 8, and I've actually got some higher than that. Now that's coming from this draw length too long, as far as I can tell. There are some arrows here in the gold, but I've got some up and down adjustments. I think that's to do with the draw length, so maybe I should do another video where this bow's set at 28.5, because I feel this bow shoots better than that group. It's not a good, that's not a good group. And I shot the option 6 really, really well yesterday, 2 days ago. But I felt this bow shoots, I felt like just shooting this bow, it feels really nice to shoot. And I felt they were all going to be in the gold. I felt like they were all 10s. I really did. I was like, they were just lobbing down there. I'm like, this is easy, bang, bang, bang. I could hear some arrows clunking away in each other. And I'm like, yeah, this is going good. And I come down here at the target and it's just crappy. So my conclusion to this review, make sure the draw length's correct on your bow. In fact, I had a guy come into my shop. The other archery shop in the state is closing down, and they had their bows on special, and he brought a Hoyt. I'm going to get the price wrong, but just bear with me for it because it's my memory. I think he brought a Hoyt Helix, which is a nice looking bow. It looks like the Hoyt RX1. He brought it in for me to set the bow up and fix some stuff up on it. And I said, what'd you pay for it? And he said $1,500. I think that's the number he paid for it. And I'm like, but the draw length's too long for you and you can't shorten it. So it kind of, to me, I mean, it's a nice looking bow. I didn't get to shoot it, but I think it'd be a nice shooting bow. But if the draw length's too long for you and you can't adjust it, that's the result you're going to get. And you've just blown $1,500. Now, let's say you paid $1,000 for that bow. I don't know what a Hoyt Helix is worth, right? But let's say you paid $1,000 for it. I'm still going, you're better to buy a $500 bow that's suited for you and be able to shoot it than an expensive bow that's not suited for you and not being able to shoot it. Because to me, this bow is absolutely beautiful. It's a lovely bow to shoot, And I think given the right draw length, I reckon I could nail this thing. I really do. I think this bow is, draw cycle's lovely, the finish is lovely, and the price point is very interesting between the $1,000 and the $700 price point. I mean, $1,400 that one shop's got it for is just a joke. But to me, this is, at $1,000, I'm not really a buyer of this bow. I'm like, well, actually, there's lots of other bows out there. I'm interested in bows that are being discounted, maybe last year's models that are being discounted. And I'm almost pushing towards spending an extra $300 and just buying top of the line. Okay, so I'm interested at $1,000 of this bow. I'd be interested in, you know, the top of the line elites with the extra features, and that's probably where I'd be going. But at the $700 price point, I'm like, this is a bow. It's a bow that feels like a $1,300 bow to shoot, but it's at half the price point. I'm definitely a buyer at $700 in this bow, in the Enlist. And the fact that I've got to buy modules to change the draw length, yeah, it's a pain. It is a pain. But once my draw length's set, it's set and it's done. So that's not going to really worry me too much. Now, when you change the modules on this bow, it's still same string set on it, so you don't have to change the strings. I think that's probably about it. I'm going to say with the top of the range Elite target bows, I'm a bit surprised they don't have roller slides. When I say roller slides, rollers on the cable guard like the top of the line Elite target bows. That surprised me today. I know this is not a review on the top of the line Elite target bows, it's a review on the Elite Enlist. But I suppose that's kind of where I'm going to finish this one. So overall, I think it's a nice bow. It's been a nice day today, but cold. It's cold winter and it gets dark real quick as the sun's setting right now over the ocean. So with that, thanks for watching. This is the Elite Enlist. Check it out at your local archery shop and see what you think of this bow. And drop a comment below on what you think this bow is and whether you think it's how it sits in the marketplace. Thanks for watching. Bye.